The word that I'm thinking about today is normalcy. That's a word that gets bantered around a lot nowadays. What will it look like when we return to normal? When will we return to normal? What will we have to do to adjust to the new normal that we're going to experience? If you know me, you know that I'm a person who thrives on routine. That's just the way I'm wired. I know everybody probably to some degree or another. Maybe I'm a little more extreme than others, but I just feel like I function best in a routine, that I'm more productive that way. And this craving for normalcy, it's understandable. I think we all feel that to some degree, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. But my fear is that sometimes this yearning for normalcy, this yearning to return to the way things were before, is going to be something that might keep us from allowing God to do in our lives and in our nation and even in our world the things that He is wanting to do. Listen to the conversations that you hear on television. You know, when you hear about reopening our country. And I believe that's important. Obviously, there are important things. There's people that need to go back to work. There's millions of people who are out of work, and they don't want to get just stimulus checks from the government. They want to provide for their families. There are small businesses that, if this goes on too long, they're not going to make it out the other side. So I know that there are important reasons for us to want to see things get opened back up and get moving forward. I totally get that. But then you hear things like, well, when can I go back to restaurants? When can our beloved sports leagues start again? When can we fill up arenas and stadiums? When can we go to shows and theaters? And again, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. Those are all good things. I enjoy them just as much as anyone else does. But sometimes this cry to resume this normal routine that we've been accustomed to can lead us away from the things that God is doing at this moment. I understand, like I said, there's very important reasons why we want to see things move forward and these restrictions be lifted. But my concern is that under the surface, this longing for normalcy is sometimes an unwillingness to let God bring about change in our lives. If this situation that we're in right now isn't a wake-up call to God's people, I don't know what it will take. If this situation that we're in doesn't cause us to evaluate the priorities of our life and see if our priorities align with God's priorities, I don't know what will. But when I'm hearing from folks on television and sometimes in other places, and I expect to hear it from the world, it's just this desire to go back to sometimes, and I know this is going to sound harsh, but the same self-centered, entertainment-driven, what's in it for me, I want to be comfortable and happy, do my own thing kind of existence. And there's so much more that God wants to do. This is a time for God's people to get on their knees and to be asking Him to show us what He wants to do, what He's doing at this time. It's a time for us to align ourselves with the purposes of God and not simply be like the children of Israel that wanted to go back to Egypt when they were in the wilderness. Yeah, Egypt wasn't very good. We were in slavery and in bondage and all, but at least it was normal. At least we were familiar with it. We don't want to be like that. I believe, this is my heart, I believe that we could be on the verge of the greatest revival, one of the greatest moves of God ever in the history of the church. But if our heart is simply to go back to business as normal, we could very well miss the things that God wants to do. And I don't want to miss them, and I hope you don't either. So take this challenge, and I hope you really take it to heart. God bless.